We're going to pick up this week's video where we left off last week, where we were still troubleshooting our trailer brakes. Now, where I want to go with this is that we were heading down a path and we were taking some troubleshooting efforts based on a lot of the research and a lot of the things that we had seen on the internet, as well as the recommendations we were getting from Grand Design. Now, I don't want to put too much of a spoiler out there, but I do want to say that the issue that we were seeing and the path that we were taking didn't lead us where we thought it was going to. We ended up having a completely different issue, but the reason that we still left all of those troubleshooting efforts in this video this week is because as we were doing all that research, there are just a ton of people out there that are having issues with these newer model GMC brake controllers. And the path we're going down has some really good troubleshooting efforts for that specific scenario. At this point, I'm not going to tell you what our actual brake issue was. I'm going to let you guys watch the video so you can kind of see that path as well, but we really felt that it was important to leave our initial troubleshooting efforts in there because I'm sure that some of you out there may have seen this problem, you may have this problem right now, or you may see it in the future. So we wanted to leave that in there because it is a good, solid troubleshooting plan to determine whether or not you've got one of those faulty brake controllers in your truck. So having said all of that, let's get right into the video where we left off from last week. It has been a few days since we lost our trailer brakes and we did some initial troubleshooting on that. There's some reasons for that, but partly it was because last week we were kind of in an awkward position where we couldn't really do any filming, couldn't really do a lot of troubleshooting on this. So it's actually a little over a week later. We're in a different campground and we still don't have trailer brakes. So what I wanted to do is just give a quick recap and bring you up to speed on what we've done over the past week and what we have found out. Basically, the gist of this is that GM has a problem with these brake controllers, and it looks like it's from the 2020 models of these heavy-duty trucks up to the 2024 models. But I've finally seen some actual documentation that basically states that there's some sort of communication issue between the trailer, or the RV in this case, and the truck's stock controller. And that communication has to do with the state of charge of the battery of the truck versus the state of the charge of the battery in the RV. And basically what it says is if the RV's battery, house battery, is at a higher state of charge than the truck battery, it could be sending a signal back to the truck through that 7-way pin and basically making the brake controller on the truck kind of just shut down and not actuate the trailer brakes. So the proposed solution here that I've been told to do is to basically sever that connection between the truck and the camper. And the only way to do that is to cut that 12-volt DC wire that comes from the truck's brake controller to the RV via the umbilical cord. So I'm sure there are several different ways to do this, but the way that I've chosen to do this is, I think the easiest way to do it is there's a junction box right here on the pin box where you can open that up and you can get easy access to that 12-volt DC line. Now, that 12-volt DC line really shouldn't do anything except, of course, send a 12-volt signal to the rig, and that's what charges the battery as you're going down the road. Now, I still need all of those other pins to work. I need the brake lights, I need all the turning lights, I need the reverse lights, I need all of that stuff to work. I just look at it as a basic 12-volt DC signal to the rig that charges that battery, and I don't need that. So what I've done here in preparation for a retest on these brakes is I've gone into this junction box on the pin box and I've severed that connection. So hopefully we won't be getting whatever erroneous signal this is coming back to the truck and telling the brake controller basically that the trailer doesn't need any brakes. So I want to show you just real quick the connection that I split out and I capped off the 12-volt signal coming from the truck. I'll show you that real quick. And then we're going to move right into retesting this. And what that means is we're going to hook up to the truck. We're not going to bring any slides in for any of this because we're basically just going to do a bump test, a brake test. We're not going to bring any slides in. We're going to raise the landing gear, and then we're going to do a pull test on the trailer to see if these brakes will actually engage. This is the 12-volt connection right here. So this one comes from the truck, and then these two are going out to the trailer. Now these two currently do have 12 volt DC on them. This one will have 12 volt DC on it once I start the truck. So just for ease of access, that's the connection that I decided to sever, because I didn't want to get up underneath the truck and have to, you know, do it at the pins, you know, where the umbilical hooks up to the truck. So this was the easiest spot. I would imagine it's the easiest spot for most people. All right, here we go. Step one. Well, step one was get the dog in the truck with me. He freaks out when we do landing gear and slides. So next step here is we're gonna back up, get hitched up. We've got a good indication on the dash, says the trailer brakes are indeed connected. That doesn't really mean anything. Okay, so we're hooked up here. We've got all the landing gear off the ground. The rear landing gear is all the way up. The front landing gear is about 1 inch or 2 off the ground. So I'm just gonna pull forward. I'm gonna have the truck in drive. We're gonna actuate the brake controller, and we're gonna see what happens.
Yep.
Well, folks, I think that was a fail. We didn't break anything. Everything's good, but the brakes are still not working. So that means I think it's time to call a mobile RV tech. All right, we got the mobile tech out here today looking at these brakes. So after doing all that research online, and everything pointed towards most likely it was an electrical problem with the brake controller on the truck. Turns out that wasn't it at all. Turns out I actually have a brake line that's leaking on the rear passenger side wheel, and I'm out of brake fluid. So we found that by basically we had the cap off to the hydraulic actuator for the rig, and we applied the brakes, and we heard the gurgling, stuck our finger in there, almost no brake fluid. So that's what it was. We're gonna get some more hydraulic fluid in there. We're gonna bleed the brakes down. We found that there was just a loose connection on that wheel. Probably came from the factory like that, and I've just been slowly losing brake fluid over time. So we're gonna fill it back up. We've got the connection tightened, and then we'll do a little bump test on here to make sure that everything's working all right.
So you're gonna have to pull the truck up. We have to energize the system, and you're gonna activate the brake controller. We're gonna let this cycle. It's gonna push the fluid out, push the air out, suck in the good fluid. Once that's done and we don't have any more air bubbles coming off, we'll top it off. Then we have to go and start at the wheels, furthest wheel away from the controller here, which is now going to be your left rear.
Okay.
We'll start over there with you in the truck, me yelling on, off, on, off.
So ends up it was the we had a leak in a brake line, lost all of my brake fluid, and of course if you don't have any brake fluid, then you don't have any brakes. So this guy right here is his name is Wade. He runs, what's the name of your company?
Road Ready Mobile RV Services.
It's veteran owned and operated, and he's just kind of an all-around good guy, at least from what I can see. Big thanks to him. Can you just kind of walk us through what we found?
Yeah, so based on your indications when I arrived, it appeared to be an electrical issue based on the long description and history you've had with us over the last few weeks. So we went through troubleshooting all the electrical, knew the diagnostics on that, and couldn't really find an issue. And then I went back to the wheels themselves, go back to the basics, just like it's an old car or something. And lo and behold, there was a brake line on the right rear wheel that was only finger tight, and all the brake fluid had leaked out. So the master controller up front and reservoir were completely empty, and just sucking air, and it tripped the switch inside, the internal switch, and just wasn't going to operate. So.
And then in addition to that, because he's so thorough like that, he did check all the other connections. So the same connection that we found that was loose on the one wheel, we found 2 others. So 3 out of the 4 connections on this thing at the flexible hose that goes into the back of the brake. 3 out of the 4 of those were loose. Looks like we only had a leak in one place. But anyway, long story short, we've got it fixed. We did our pull test. And we finally have brakes again, which is good because it's a little nerve-wracking going down the road. I'm sure you can imagine. So thanks again to Wade. Appreciate all your hard work here. Can't recommend this guy enough. We'll put up his website here, and we'll kind of walk through how you can locate this guy because he's on the road. You're full-time, right?
We are full-time.
Yep, lives full-time, travels. Very, very highly recommended. So that's it, guys. That's all the brake problems. I'm sure we'll have more problems, and we'll bring you along the way. So there's nothing on the agenda for us. We're following those guys right there.
Yep.
She's got the agenda.
I have one thing on my agenda. The rest of it, I'm relying on Candace. So I was planning on following her.
She is a much better planner.
So here's what happens when nobody has the agenda is you really just end up bar hopping.
Good music down there. People watching. Good people watching.
Yeah, lots of good people watching, but we want to give a shout out to Untethered for hanging out with us. We had a good time this week. We actually didn't know we were all going to be in Nashville at the same time until just a couple of days before we got here.
Yeah.
So we were able to arrange a couple of meetups, a few meetups, I think. And we even had a doggy birthday party for Charlie, which is their older.
The older dog, yeah, he turned 13.
I don't know, it was corny and fun at the same time. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. We are just outside of Nashville in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Campground is okay?
It's called Grand Ole RV Resort. It's a nice campground, but it's not a resort. There's no pool, no dog park.
Yeah, there's not a lot here. They call themselves a resort. They do have a nice shop. They do serve food. They've got live music every night, but it's not really a resort. It is a really nice campground, though. So if you're ever in the area, Grand Ole RV Resort in Goodlettsville, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville. I would still recommend it. We got the site right here that's like almost a perfect site. It's right next to the live music every night. I don't know, we had a good time while we're here.
Yeah.
I would stay here again. Just keep in mind, it's not really a true resort. It's just a really, really nice campground.
Yeah, so if you want all the amenities, they're not here. But if you're just looking to relax.
Yeah. Yep, so we're going to hit the road, and we're headed to Huntsville, Alabama next. So we will see you guys later, hopefully a shenanigan-free travel day. We've had a couple of travel days that were a little bit crazy. We had no brakes. We did we had that shore power problem, so hopefully no shenanigans today.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Peace. This happened to us the first night. Well, it was actually in the morning, 4:45 in the morning. This guy over here picks up this trash 4:45 on a Saturday morning. And then it happened again a couple of nights later at like a quarter to midnight, banging these things around. There we go. Lovely. Right outside of our window too. Yep. Gotta love it. That combined with the train. It all took some getting used to. Big fan of travel days. They're not terrible because we don't go very far, but you know I'm really enjoying about this travel day?
What?
We have brakes.
I like brakes.
We have brakes. We have a good shore power cord. We still got to fix the surge protector, but having brakes takes quite a bit off the mind.
Yes, I like having full access to all of my AC units and having brakes so we don't have to worry about hitting any hills or backed up traffic.
Anyway, not a big fan of travel days, but at least we have brakes on this one.
So we just stopped and got gas, and we like to kill two birds with one stone. So Jeremy went in and got us a breakfast / lunch of champions. He got two, like egg and cheese something.
Kind of omelet thing.
Yeah, they were okay. This thing, really good. This is like, I think it's turkey sausage wrapped in cheese and breading and then deep fried. Totally healthy. We ended up getting 27.42 gallons. The sticker price, had we just walked in off the street, would have been $4.03. So with our discount, because I think we paid about $3.12 a gallon.
You're talking about the open roads discount, right?
Yes, the open roads discount, where you can use the trucker lanes, super easy, super worth it. We ended up just on this one trip alone saving $22.61. So that more than paid for our super healthy lunch.
Doesn't look promising. It's not raining super hard, but it is really, really dark right now. I'm really not looking forward to setting up in the rain. I hope we come out of this.
Unfortunately, based on the weather map that I just looked at, we are driving right into some really pretty colors. So
that's wonderful.
We just had a clap of thunder and lightning, and Wicket hates thunder, is terrified, and so he pretty much immediately jumped up front here into my lap so Mommy could save him and comfort him.
So a little bit of a concern here. We just came up on an underpass underneath the railroad that said 13.6 was the clearance. Well, we're 13.6. Give or take, right? So luckily there was a street where we could turn on so we could get off of that road and figure out maybe a better way around. I don't know, that sign said truck route back there, but I don't know where it goes. Had we kept going straight,
right,
I think there was a sign that said dead end, but we may be able to go up there, hang a right, and then come around. It'll get us on the other side of that railroad tracks. So that's probably our truck route right there. Oh, Tennessee truck route right there. So we should be good to go down Austin Street. And then
53, which is what we're supposed to be on.
Yeah. Got to pay attention to that stuff, guys. We think we have a route around it. Now I got to figure out if I can turn around in this janky parking lot here. Why don't you hop out and make sure that I'm going to clear those.
Sure, make me get out in the rain.
Well, you can drive if you want. Stay there, buddy. Oh.
Well,
Good thing you're wearing flip-flops.
right? Are you in my seat again?
A little bit of a detour, not too bad. Glad we saw that though.
Yeah, I'd hate to rip off, even if it is just the covers.
Yeah. So be wary out there. I don't know. I mean, I feel like if we're 13.6, I feel like the GPS should not route us through something that's got a 13.6 clearance.
Correct.
We're just going to add 2 or 3 inches to our height in the app to avoid that.
Yeah, especially because it felt like we were going to go down.
Yeah.
The road was going to dip. I don't know if that would have raised the back end at all. So yeah, we'll just add a couple of inches and not worry about it anymore. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
We are here at the Redstone Arsenal MWR RV campground here in Huntsville, Alabama. We are visiting Jeremy's old boss. So this is right on base, so you have to have military base access. The campground is fairly nice. It's 25 bucks a night. Can't really beat that for full hookups. The sites are huge. You guys know how big we are, and we could probably park the truck behind.
What are we having for dinner? That's what I'm interested in.
We're having burgers and corn, and the corn came from an Amish farm out by our friends that we stayed at in Glasgow, Kentucky.
So we're here. We're set up. Went through some torrential downpour to get down here, but that's okay. I think it must have knocked most of the bugs off of the front because it's pretty clean up on the cap. Rained a little bit when we got here. And, oh, we went to the commissary. We went to the liquor store.
Yep, those are like 2 miles away.
She's holding my drink just for show.
Yep. But yeah, so we got groceries done. We got our liquor done.
We're gonna get dinner done, and then we're gonna be done.
Then we're gonna be done.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you later. I don't know when, but we'll see you later.